Hey everybody, welcome to Love and Relo, the voice of the relocation industry, and we are live at Punch Bowl Social here in DC at the GWERC, and I'm joined by Kathy Partridge, the president of GWERC, also of Interstate Relo, day job.
Day job.
And, while you're not, running this incredible volunteer organization here, what a great meeting today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I thought it was phenomenal. Great group, great room of people. It was
a very full room.
It was like being at a reunion. I kept going around and see everybody.
A reunion.
With Grace and Anna Palmsingal from WERC was here.
Great.
Yeah. What was your favorite part of the meeting today?
So I do always like seeing all the people. I do.
It's always the people, isn't it?
It is the people, because there's people that you work with, have worked with before, and so it's just it is a reunion.
Yeah.
And our industry works with cooperation and partnerships, and so these opportunities to get together really kind of build those networks.
Yeah.
Give you the opportunity to see.
It's always the people. The people's always the best part. I mean, we put programming together. We have speakers. We have technical people come in and talk about the state of the industry and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, we all show up to be together as human beings.
It's true. There's definitely like pieces of information that you pull together and stuff. I mean, we've had like the chief economist of the National Association of Realtors speak.
Oh, wow.
We've had a couple of people come in.
That'd be a good one.
It's an excellent topic, but you have to give people a reason to be able to justify leaving the office rather than I'm just going to go have drinks with someone.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to have some justification. You got to tell your boss something, right?
You have to tell your boss something. But so it's really, the content is there. It's a great backdrop, and it works in tandem with the networking.
So tell us a little bit about, and get in the comments. If you're watching this right now, let us know who you are, where you are. If you've got questions for Kathy, we've also got Tanya Jacobson coming up from Interim Home. So I'm going to be asking her all about the, tip housing industry too. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But for people maybe that haven't been to a GWERC, can I call it the GWERC? I love calling it the GWERC. Okay, GWERC. Okay. But for people that haven't been to a GWERC meeting, what are some of the events maybe that you've had recently, and maybe some of the events that people can look forward to in the future?
So we are obviously volunteer run. So we're doing 3 events a year. We usually do a big spring event, times really before peak season to get everyone fresh, get them new, let them know what's happening in the industry, bring in a speaker.
Okay.
Then in the summer, we always have our event. This is the member appreciation event.
Okay.
We've done different things. We've done the Nationals games, which is really hard. And then
why is that harder?
The bags.
Oh.
The access to the place and the people with the bags, and you're buying the ticket. It's a big expenditure for us.
Yeah.
We really want the people to be able to kind of come in and enjoy it and make it easy. Last year we did it at one of those trendy bowling places, stuff like that. So people like it.
Mix it up a little bit.
You got to try something different every time. Yeah. So, and then in Christmas time, early December, we always do a big meeting into the year and with our elections.
Yeah.
And the pieces going around that.
Yeah. Hit that like button, get in the comments. I want to know what you're thinking out there. If you got questions for Kathy, I want to know if you've been to a GWERC before, what was your impression? I got to tell you, I feel like the GWERC has a lot of momentum right now. I feel like that y'all are doing some big things. I've seen a great promotion around it, a big full room of heavy hitters in our industry downstairs. I feel like there's a lot of momentum. So I'm going to give you a little bit of credit. I know you're going to probably, thank other people, but I think you're doing a great job.
So we do have a great Lauren Turner. It's fabulous communication.
Shout out to Lauren Turner.
She's been doing a lot of stuff to try to change that format. Our programs team, we don't really work with a ton of committees unless the person on the board really wants the committee, because everyone has different working styles. I didn't work with a committee when I did programs, quite frankly, because my work hours are unusual.
Yep.
So Mark Green, who's ARPAN, he's the president-elect. He did programs after me. He had the same thing going on. So it depends on what they have and how it works.
Yeah. Yeah. And put your questions in there. I see Christian, I see you out there. Get in the comments here. If you're watching right now, if you're hanging out backstage over here, we got a green room kind of cooking over here. Get in the comments as well. Check in with us. But and Christian, I'm going to ask that question here in a second. But you said Mark Green's the president-elect.
He is.
Every time the president changes, they write a letter to the new president to let them know what they're in store for, basically, right? Kind of like basically don't screw it up, don't hit the red button, So what's going to be your advice to Mark Green?
My bigger letter to him was when he came in programs after me. He was my programs elect.
Okay.
And so
So he's really following the Kathy Partridge career trajectory here.
Pretty
isn't
sure
he?
we don't call it. Pretty sure we don't call it that. Mark definitely has his own career trajectory. Does not rely upon me for anything. But like stepping into programs is like a big ask for someone, and for him to take that role. So I really wanted to make the landing soft as possible.
Yeah, it's a tough one because it's super visible, right? If everybody's like, oh, that program was, or if it was really great, it's like programs.
And you have to do it on top of your day job.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of aspects going to it. So it's special.
Yeah. We got a question here. Get in the comments here. We got a question. I'm going to bring it up here from. This is me bringing questions up over here. It's a little different. We got this cool backdrop here. What's up, Jose? I see you checking in. Check in. Get in the comments. I want to know who you are, where you are. If you've been to a GWERC event, what was your favorite GWERC event? Christian says, so what is the state of the relo industry from your perspective, Madam President?
It's an interesting question. So relocation means a lot of things to a lot of different people in the DC marketplace because it really depends on how you're looking at it. So there is really a large center of commercial relocation here. So for corporations, some of them are government contractors, some of them are associations and nonprofits, and some of them are just pure corporations without those other not touching government. And then you have your government aspect. So relocation means something completely different depending on who you're talking to here.
This is the most diverse market from a vertical standpoint. Because you're right, you have so many company headquarters here, corporate. So you have big corporate, you've got federal agency, right? So we were just at the GSA pre-bid meeting yesterday, so I'm going to ask you some questions about that. Okay. You've got obviously the military. It's probably the military's biggest moving market as well.
That's a whole animal.
A whole nother animal, right?
It's like a zoo.
It's a whole. It's an aquarium within the relocation industry. And then of course you have all the office moving and stuff that goes on with all these incredible buildings and facilities that are going on. So it is really interesting. But I'm gonna ask you. I mean, do you feel, this has been a tough year for people?
It has.
I don't know if you're aware. I'm probably not for you. You're killing it. But for the rest of us, it's been a tough year, right?
It's been a tough year.
So do you see there's been a lot of talk about the election? Here we're in DC. Is that going to have an impact? I mean, are people waiting and see? Are you hearing that from your clients, or when can we expect maybe some light at the end of this tunnel, if you will?
So I hear election, and I hear people leasing. In my mind, I've been here for a long time. I went to American, and I never really left. So to me, incoming administrations usually lease for the first 2 years. So you'll see a little movement there. It really affects interstate. Interstate has some contracts, some government contracts where we're dealing with the government transition a lot. That keeps us moving and hustling big time.
No pun intended.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. But I think a lot of it, right now, nothing happens because there isn't any agreement happening in the government. And so a lot of the things that we're waiting to see, the change in is the tax laws going to change? What's going to happen with the military? It's all stuck.
Yeah.
And it's if the government or elected officials don't really collaborate, it stays stuck. Yeah. So right now we're stuck for a while.
Yeah.
We know we're stuck until possibly January.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, really interesting. We got people checking in. What's up, Lauren? Shout out to you. Get in the comments. Ask your questions. I'm going to try to get to them. We're at Punch Bowl, if you didn't notice. So we're a little kind of
carry that around with me everywhere I go.
Yeah, this is actually just the Kathy backdrop. This is how she rolls.
My own personal background.
This is her Zoom background right here when you're on Zoom. So anyway, get in the comments there. But we were also, speaking of federal, and here we are, we were at the GSA free bid. And one of the things I was struck by when they were showing the numbers, and they shared a lot of data, which is really cool. That's one of the cool parts about the government businesses. There's a lot of transparency.
There is.
They're just like, here's our data.
We get a little spoiled.
Yeah.
And they'll give you hints on where to find more data. And they were really good about this time. They went into more depth about some of the acquisitions that you're seeing on the backside and where to find it, which they're always helpful. But that was kind of new information for a lot of people in the room. Yeah.
And so I noticed, one of the things I noticed was that the federal volume was relatively stable compared to the corporate volume, compared to, even the military volume kind of up and down. So I was like, wow, this is a rare little kind of stable spot in our industry. But what were your impressions from the GSA pre-bid meeting yesterday?
It's really interesting. So the pre-bid is meant to be kind of the directions of where you're going for the next year. They roll out the pre-bid, they roll out the changes in the government kind of rules of engagement, the household tender, and it sets you up to set your government filing for it.
Okay.
In the government household goods, you set your filing for November 1, and then you have the opportunity to adjust for peak season. Not everyone does it, but it depends. You probably see more people adjusting on the international side than domestic.
Okay.
I always adjust, quite frankly. I don't want to overspend and underspend, and want to be a good fiduciary of the government money.
Sure.
But the pre-bid tells you what you need to change, what you need to do. So there are some changes. I don't think the end user, like the transferees, I don't think they will feel it because they're more administrative.
Yeah.
But it's good information.
You know, one of the things I agree. One of the things as I was looking at the data, and I was like, I was the one taking all the pictures, and they're like, it's all online. I'm like, but I don't know where, so I want to take a picture. So one of the things I noticed though was they showed the relocation spend data for last year, and I think the average spend per relo, full boat relo, was 41,000 US last year, I think. Just take my word for it, okay? It's on the internet. And then 2021, they showed the average spend was like 43K. And I thought that was really interesting because with 2 years of compounded inflation that we've all been hearing about, we see that spend numbers going down a little bit, which to me is super odd. And I was curious what your thoughts were on that, or if I was just crazy and totally mixed up my numbers.
I don't want to tell you you're crazy, but there's things associated with the government numbers, and you kind of need to see how it breaks down. You need to see how, was that just your household goods? That may have been just the home sale piece on it. Although I think that number is right now around 60,000. So but the government is its own animal. Like we do a mixture in this area, we do a big mixture of corporate and government, and there's things that happen on a government relocation that don't happen in the corporate world. There's different employee bonuses and stuff like that happen on the backside that you don't even see. So the cost associated with a government relocation can really vary, and a lot of it's each agency kind of makes the decision on what they're going to allow. Some of them do home sales, some of them don't do home sale. Some of them are really, doing some unique aspects.
Are you seeing more renters right now with interest rates kind of being where they're at, moving versus like the people that are owning homes that are locked in at 2.9%? I feel like everybody's bragging about their interest rates, by the way, right now. It's like a new
nice
brag.
Cocktail
it's like,
conversation.
I'm at a 2.9. What'd you get? It's like, I'm 3.1. But I mean, do you feel like people are kind of sticking in their homes, and maybe that's part of the thing that's kind of gunking up the works a little bit right now?
It totally is. I mean, there's, you kind of need the food chain to evolve. You need the people who are ready to move on and move into like the next home, their retirement home or whatever, to kind of move, and they're not moving the same way. But relocations, it's in a bubble.
Yeah.
So you have your company or your government agency paying for you to move, and if you go into a rental, that's when you finish. But then you might have a year later and decide to move.
Yeah.
But my argument is that you go and you take the benefits and move with the idea that you can come back and refinance. Yeah. Because refinance, it might be like a lot of paperwork, a lot of difficulties, but quite frankly, it's easier than moving your entire home again without the benefit, without someone paying for it.
Without the benefit is a good point.
It's a big benefit.
When you think about that cash outlay up front, I mean, that's huge. Somebody told me from the mortgage side, they said, you marry the house, you date the rate. So it's like,
that's a good way of putting it.
Marry that house of your dreams now for your family. I mean, a home is a home. It's not an investment. People tell me that as well on the real estate side. I don't know if this is good financial advice or not, but and it does feel like I just saw a Wall Street Journal article that came out today that said mortgage rates are at a 15-month low, which isn't low, but it's also not high historically. So I'm hopeful that maybe in this fall we can see some loosening up in the household goods market, and maybe we have a nice little fall end. I don't know.
So I'm a child of relocation.
Yeah.
I grew up in the relocation. My father was transferred multiple times, and I'm old enough to know the really bad interest rates. And so there were 2 or 3 full years where my father was his office was in New Jersey and we were in Pensacola, Florida. He traveled Monday through Friday. And those interest rates were like 18% and what have you. And people forget about the cyclical effect of real estate and the interest rates and how they go. Are we going to go back down to 2%? Probably not.
Yes.
But can we settle somewhere in the mid fives and see that? And save money
I'd love a 5. I'd kill for a 5. I mean, a 5. I mean, not literally kill. Tanya's worried now. Okay, I'm not killing anybody for a 5%. 2% maybe, but not a 5%.
Virginia's a big death penalty state now.
Oh no, we're not. Well, I'd do it in Maryland if I did it. I wouldn't do it, but if I did it, Christian's over here bragging. He's like 2.9. He's over here bragging. Mine's a 2.75. Flexing here. Yes, you are flexing here. The longest date ever, 30 years. You know, it's interesting. I remember I was interviewing Randy Wilson on the show a few years ago, and right when interest rates started taking off, we were all freaking out, you know. And she brought this paper graph. It was like the most amazing thing. And I was born in 1982, and the graph went back. It went back 40 years basically. And it went back to 1982, and she showed me the 18% interest. I think it was 18.
It was, because that's right when my dad was doing the triathlon.
When he said 18, I was like, I think it's 82.
I was in like middle school. I remember that.
And she showed it to me at the year I was born, basically. And I was like, crap, you know. And I think at that time it was like 5 or 6, and we were, freaking out. Now I'm about to buy a house at 7 right now. I'm closing on a home August 22nd at 7.25.
Okay, well, pay attention. Same lender refi. They might waive your closing. Your second time around for a refinance. There's different ways you can
help
bring
me,
it down.
Kathy. I need a relocation consultant right now to tell me what to do. Let's see. We got people also coming in here. Lauren, what's up, Lauren? Saying I love the background you decided on. Very festive.
That's awesome. We love Lauren.
Yeah, Lauren's awesome. Hosea checking in. Hey, Kathy and Ben, great work.
Hey, Hosea.
Hosea, you at the airport? Order me some food. Lauren saying hi, enjoying the show from the car. Best way. Well, drive safe, Lauren.
We've already had one accident, Lauren.
Compliance. Best way to end an amazing day with you both. Yes. What's up, Lauren? Awesome. Very cool. Normally I don't have to lean forward like this, but hey, we're just making it work out here, making it work at the GWERC.
Making it work with GWERC. Oh, that's our new theme for next year. We should pay you.
Now you're going to give Mark a great theme, and they're going to be like, oh, Mark's theme is really cool, like I feel you should just make it the theme.
I owe Mark a lot.
Yeah.
Mark's been
Shout
awesome.
out to Mark Green. Question for you though. We had Anna Palm here. I saw Anna Palm. Yeah. And I always say ERC. It's not. It's WERC.
They went work now.
They went work.
New branding. Work.
I think they're trying to steal your work energy, honestly. So the work.
I don't think they need us.
work, GWS, Global Workforce Symposium. So many acronyms in this business. It's going to be here in our nation's capital in October. How are you feeling about that?
We're really excited about it.
Yeah.
We've
home game for you guys.
It is a home game. We have a really large center of relocation here.
Yeah.
GWERC doesn't do a lot of committees, but we have a special committee we pulled together, and we're trying to really energize people in realizing what an area this can be and bring in and energize. We have a massive membership.
Yeah.
I mean, we pulled 90 people. We should have had 70 based on the site. I mean, so we have a pretty good membership considering a lot of our members are coming in from out of the area.
Yeah.
I'd say probably only 15% of the people that were in there were from the DC metro market.
A lot of people. I saw people from Chicago. I saw people from Seattle. I'm from Texas. Yeah, y'all do pull. Well, and I think it's the presence of the federal government, right? There's almost. I mean, I'm going to say there's only one place to really, sell federal, and that's here in DC. I mean, you got to come to see the folks, and they're here.
Not all federal decision makers for relocation are here. I had clients in from out of town that never come here. It was really a nice opportunity to see them. There's a good number of government agencies that don't make their relocation team does not sit in the DC metro park.
Or if they sit in the DC, if they technically office here, they're working from home in West Virginia or something. I had a call with somebody in West Virginia, and they're like, yeah, they want us to come back. And I'm like, how's that working out? Yeah.
I think a lot of the people that are based still in DC, I think there's probably a hybrid going on. A lot of the people that are based in DC and that have been remote were remote way before COVID. And so you know, and a lot of it also depends on your government agency and whether you're in kind of a law enforcement or a security type situation versus one of the other civilian agencies where that's really not an issue. So.
Yeah, the mix of business here is wild because when you start talking about civilian agencies or NGOs, I mean, and all the university business as well. I know y'all do a lot of schools and universities.
Universities are big.
You know, there's just a lot going on here. I love coming to DC. I'm always energized by it. It's a little rainy today, but it's always fun here at Punch Bowl.
It's better than our sweltering heat.
Yeah.
So
my gosh.
Take it and run.
We're gonna bring Tanya on here in a second, but I wanna ask you before we let you go though, Kathy, any kind of final thoughts you want to share with us?
This week was really interesting. So you have, of course, the mixture between corporate and government. There were a lot of government meetings this week, and most of the industry and the government side, it's run by the GSA, and they have different programs and different providers and what have you. They're in a unique position because they have rules and regulations and laws, but they're trying to find the best mix for the government agencies to be competitive with the talent. You know, the people that Apple and Google and all these other people want to hire, it's the same people we want working in our government a lot of times.
That's right.
So they're doing a really good job of trying to provide that corporate experience within the realm of the federal laws that allow them to do it. And so
I've seen that a lot lately, like corporate commercial best practices.
Yeah. Like there's a big knowledge share between the two that really helps.
Do you think that the acquisition process and the you know, I'm gonna use the word bureaucracy, my word, right? But I mean, like,
it's a good word.
You know, I mean, has it gotten easier over the years, in your opinion, to do business with the government and the regulations? I mean, I know on the military side, they've eased some of the regulations about what kind of containers you can ship in and what kind of approval process for warehouses and things like that to adapt to more commercial best practices.
You mean
what do you see on what do you
so there's two ways to look at this. I mean, to operate operationally within the government business, that's a whole different matter than procuring government business.
Fair. Answer both.
Okay, so operationally, they're really holding you to a standard to kind of continue that good relocation experience.
Yeah.
So for a lot of the government people, they're moving regularly. They're moving every 2 years. Some people literally move every 2 years.
Wow.
And so you have to realize that that's a hardship.
Yeah.
Their families are getting stricter. They're putting kids in school and out of school. So you're really giving them that experience, and they need to have that experience. So the efficiency and the equity across their employee base is important.
Yeah. Are they doing home sale and home purchase or something every time they move?
Depends on the agency.
Oh my gosh. Because you think
I
about it,
I don't think everyone does it every single time. The military doesn't do home sale.
Sure. Well, no, but I mean, yeah, the military rotations are like you described. So I didn't really realize that on the federal agency side. Oh my gosh, Tandra Chester checking in here says, "Have some fun for me, Ben." You know, Tandra, that's a really good point. We should make sure we're having fun here. It's not all just reload, some love too, you know, some fun out here. I see there's some margaritas floating around too. That I don't know who you got to know to get a margarita around here. I'll tell you what. But all right there. Yes, thank you, Tandra. This one's for you. Cheers. Oh, that's nice. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Whew, I needed that. I'm a little soggy up here. This has been a lot of fun. I can't wait to come back to the next work meeting. When's the next one again?
First week in December.
First week in December. Is that kind of like the holiday celebration vibe?
It is.
Okay.
It is.
All right, cool.
We really kick it in with our foundation and the donation stuff.
Yeah. Which foundations do you support, by the way? Yeah.
We do a lot with Toys for Tots.
Toys for Tots.
We're trying to do some actually hands-on volunteer stuff. It's an additional networking opportunity, which I'm huge about because I want to see people share ideas.
Yes.
There's not always an opportunity for either whether you're a government person or a corporate person to share ideas and share solutions, because regardless what side you sit on, you're probably having the same problems. And the frustrations that one person might have can be very similar here, and solution sharing is a huge part of what we need to do.
Love it. Love it. Kathy, I'm going to ask for that microphone real quick, and then we are going to bring on Tanya Jacobson. So hang for 1 second. Kathy Partridge, thank you for being here. High fives. Awesome. Thanks for the mark. Bring it in here, Tanya. You want to clip that to your shirt or jacket or whatever?
Here.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, Bud. Bud Morissette, everybody. You know, who's better than Bud? The hospitality is phenomenal here at the GWERC. We appreciate you very much. Water sponsored by Interstate. Thank you very much. The water sponsor today. Whew. Man, you can't live without it, you know. Tanya Jacobson, tell me about Interim Homes real quick.
Well, we're awfully proud of Interim Homes. We are a growing woman-owned, certified GSA contract holder. We're the prime supporting not only federal business, though, corporate growth.
Wow.
And even individual travelers with temporary furnished housing nationwide and globally. So
you do this for the federal government and corporate?
We absolutely do. We've got a very strong team that's supporting the GSA contract.
Nice.
And then we've got our corporate team. I handle business development for our corporate team.
Okay.
So I'm always looking to add value and solutions to our corporate clients throughout the Mid-Atlantic predominantly, but also nationwide.
Yeah, we're fans of Interim Homes here. Shout out to Phil and shout out to Ann.
Yes, that's
both
correct.
Have been on the show before. So Tanya's coming for you. She's going to come on like 5 more times. Need the Steve Martin of Love and Relo over here at Interim Homes. But no, this is awesome. What was your impression of the GWERC meeting today?
Oh, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Really good content.
Yeah.
Talking to people who had attended said they really felt that was really rich in updated information.
Tell me a little bit about the content.
You know,
for those of us who showed up a little late.
Yeah.
I was packing.
No, I think, you know, we get slammed a little bit once in a while that maybe things are a little too dry, right?
Yeah.
But we are focused on elevating our industry and making sure folks are prepared to provide the best solutions possible when they're talking to their clients and the general public, making them aware that we're here. I mean, we're like the little known secret of relocation. People don't recognize that this is an entire industry.
Yeah.
Now there are actual programs in higher institutions that help train people to prepare for project management in this field. But that wasn't around when I started in the business, or when you were born, when I started at college.
When interest rates were 18%. No, let me understand a little bit about what's going on in the corporate housing side of the business, though. Give us a little kind of snapshot.
Yeah, so this is interesting. And, you know, I remember I've been in the business now about 15 years. And the first year someone said, boy, you wait till summer. It's just going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
And wait till the next year. And there has not been one year that's been just like the last.
Yeah.
Every year is very different.
Yes.
This is temporary furnished housing has to do a lot with the economic climate that's taking place. And right now we're in an interesting space. We're post-COVID, where there were a lot of multifamily units that were actually packed because people weren't moving. They were just staying where they were. They weren't making decisions to buy. Companies had sent people home, the expats home, to be in their safe space. And relocation came to a virtual halt for a good portion of the time.
Hold on a second. That drop just did. Here we go. We're back. Oh my God, that was so weird because there was a phone dropped over there, unrelated.
It was a mic drop.
And then I lost my connection here. Anyway, all good. If you can still hear me out there, get in here. Look, Lauren's saying, go Tanya. Richard checking in from, what's up? Richard checking in from London. Dan from Tulsa. Dan's my dad. Shout out to my dad.
Aww.
Love you, Dad. Dads are awesome. Love you, man. Max, Loey's liking the backdrop.
Yeah.
Liking the fun.
Punch bowl.
The zhuzh, the energy right here.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Well, we're at an interesting place. We're at the Punch Bowl Social in Arlington, Virginia.
Yes, tell us where we're at.
Arlington is a happening place.
Yeah.
Arlington was one of the first residential areas built out of the federal government space when the federal government decided they were going to put people here. This was one of the first suburbs. And so it's a really interesting market. You've got a lot of high rises. You've got little cottage homes. And then you've got McMansions that have been built where people have renovated and upscaled inventory. It's a really happening market. It's also, Arlington happens to be headquarters of some major brands.
Wow.
Some that have A and Z in there.
Amazing.
Amazing in their brand. But there's just so much happening in this space, and we're continuing to see a lot of elevation.
Where's the growth? Tell me about the growth here, because it is challenging times right now. I'm gonna scroll up here a little bit here. Oh, shout out to Balaji here as well, checking in. Max.
Talk about a multitasker.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I can't believe it.
She means distracting. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do it over here. I'm usually here. It's
fantastic.
different. We're in the field here.
Yeah.
But anyway, so tell me about the growth opportunities though, because I know you're focused kind of in that Philly down in Norfolk kind
yeah,
of
that's right. You got that
corridor.
right. Yes, sir.
Right. So
Yeah.
where do you see the growth right now for your business?
Yeah. So Interim Homes, we've continued to grow. As you said, Philly to Norfolk, but we do serve clients nationwide and globally.
Okay.
We're just seeing a huge concentration of activity, not only in the GSA and federal government and defense contractor space, but the corporate entities. You know, any market you can describe, there is not a need for global mobility or relocation, and temporary housing is key to that solution.
Well, and you also go out and do other types of projects too, don't you?
Do.
Outside of like corporate relocation and stuff, right?
I mean, we help the average everyday Joe who's looking to put a family reunion together, maybe is looking for a getaway. We also provide insurance housing.
I was gonna say, because I just got a homeowner's insurance quote because I'm moving into a new home, and they gave me they quoted me like $227,000 for interim
temporary housing. Should you have an unfortunate circumstance and you need to be placed somewhere, they're going to put you in a like kind quality accommodation, and it's going to be hopefully an interim home.
Yeah.
And we're going to make sure that you get to live, your family gets to live in the way you've been accustomed to live, somewhere near your current home.
Yes.
Beyond that, we provide insurance.
How long do people normally stay in those for insurance purposes?
It depends on your house, right? And
so you get a fire. Say you just like fire and how long?
It depends on the damage, man. Really, I mean, you can, and then it depends on the
year.
It could be, and then think about the labor implications and the supply implications.
Sure.
And wherever you are, you know, in the country, that could vary significantly.
Because if they got to tear it down and rebuild it, right?
That's right. They got to tear it down and rebuild it. Sometimes we'll get a request that starts at 3 months. And then because of labor and supply, that has to be extended to 6 months. You need to have a place for your children to make sure they can go to school, where they're used to going to school, where your dog has a backyard, and you're living in a house with a full kitchen and a washer and a dryer, and you have some peace of mind.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting. So not just apartments, but also like single family homes.
That is correct. Interim Homes provides everything from studio apartments to executive style manor homes where you can bring the Great Dane and the parakeet.
I like this family you're assuming I have: the Great Dane, the parakeet, the executive mansion. I like this life that you envisioned for me. It's very
for 7%, still good.
At my 7.25, rate. And this is great. Maybe a few years I can afford it, right? We got people checking in here. Get in the comments here. We're gonna try to involve everything here. This is good. Dad's over here talking about Arlington, Texas. Dad, we're not in Arlington, Texas, Dad. He's over at the University of Texas.
VA.
Yeah, Arlington, Virginia, man. Okay, you gotta skip with the program, Dad.
Yay.
Love you, man. Lynn Madison checking in. What's up, Lynn? I got my annual Lynn Madison photo today, which I love because I'm all like enormous.
And there's little Lynn.
I'm all like, it's hilarious.
Sweet.
Yes. We love Lynn.
Like
Concentrated. That's what she is. Max, Loey, Tanya, people really need to know more about what you and your team are doing. So much opportunity.
There is an awful lot of opportunity. I think one of the greater opportunities we've seen since COVID is finally the return of internships in the whole battle for talent.
Tell me about interns, because interns are one of those classically challenging populations.
It is, yeah, absolutely.
Kids these days, anyway, huh?
Well, in most housing markets, the housing inventory is pretty constrained. So even if they think they know it all and they can find it online, it may not be the best solution for them.
Yeah, or even actually available, right?
That's correct. Or available, exactly.
And
so one of the things we've seen that's been a little bit different, there's been a diversion from a traditional internship program. Maybe the corporate entity isn't providing the housing solution lock, stock, and barrel. Maybe they're providing a modest stipend, and the intern is required to do some research on their own and find an affordable housing solution that meets their need.
Oh.
Yeah. And mom and dad are going to want to know that that's going to be someplace safe in a decent part of the city, and that's got what they need to make their kid happy and comfortable during this professional
experience. What was one of the more challenging intern requests that you've seen? One of my favorite parts of the show is we get to ask people about their problem transferees. It's like, what's one of the craziest stories you've heard?
I would say in years back, a big deal was not only just the smoking, but the smoking.
Oh.
Right. And I'll have to say, interns today are much better behaved, in my experience, than they were maybe 10 or 15 years ago.
It's funny you say that, because I was literally just talking to somebody downstairs. As much as we want to complain about kids these days, he made the comment to me. He's like, honestly, they really do have a lot more figured out at a young age
I'll
because they
tell you.
access to information. They're even making
agree.
better health decisions. I mean, you see like they smoke less, they drink less, they don't text and drive. I mean, they're doing all the things that like they really are smarter than us in a lot of ways.
They're paying attention to their personal brand. They also know they're representing a company that they hope to work for, perhaps after they finish their formal education, and that's going to play into their success over life. So I think they're doing a great job. We're very proud to be supporting some major brands across the nation, and I'm personally impressed by the young people that I see. We're looking to expand our solutions because inventory is very dynamic, limited in availability, and also limited in cost. So we're trying to find creative solutions to help young people do exactly what they want to do and have those rich professional experiences with great companies.
Shout out to Jack Jampel. What's up, Jack? It's been
Jack.
too long, buddy. Get in the comments here. If you got a question for Tanya, put it in the comments. We got a little drizzy going here. I don't know if y'all can pick up on that. We're gonna like mix it up a little bit here. Get in the comments. We're having a lot of fun out here in Arlington, Virginia. Arlington, Virginia. Are interns willing to share apartments?
They are. In a lot of cases, they are.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was always one of those things where like, it's like, hey, we might be able to take care of you. You can do 2 or 3 of y'all to a place.
Yeah. And a multifamily property, you know, the way they've created floor plans now and more recent buildings, I'd say like in the last 10, 15 years, they will create 2 primary bedrooms. So there's equity in the accommodation. They both have a bathroom. They both have a walk-in closet, and they're sharing a common living space and a kitchen and a washer and a dryer. And that's a huge cost savings, time savings. The idea is we give them the keys and the address, and they show up, and the next day they start work and they can focus on their mission. And that's the same not only for interns, but for all the professionals that we support. But that's at the end of the day why we're here. We want to make sure we're part of the solution that makes these folks as productive and happy as they can be.
Are you seeing any changes in the excuse me? I'm like trying to like mute it. I don't know what to do about like take it, throw it, and then sneeze. You know, it's like a grenade. Anyway, are you seeing any changes in corporate relocation, like policies around temp housing?
Sure.
Like, is there changes around like well, you know, allotments and things like that? Tell me what you're saying.
Yeah, we are seeing what we're seeing what they call core flex.
Okay.
So this is more of a customized solution. The company doesn't just dictate to the employee, you've got X this and this is what you've got to do, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
They know they're dealing with a more educated and informed consumer.
Yeah.
Not just the young people. Come on, we all are connected.
We all use the Google. We all know
yeah.
how to use the Google.
We can do it, and when we know also what's best for our family, our individual solution. So for the individual professional, that might be just staying in a studio apartment. But for the professional with a trailing spouse or partner and kids and pets, that's going to be something very different. So they are giving them some more flexibility in their solutions and letting them pick and choose what's important.
Yeah. Shout out to Charles Beatty. I see you there. Richard Majewski getting in here with a question. What's up, Richard from London Town? Hey, Richard, what's for dinner tonight, man? I always love Richard's like, oh, I'm supposed to be eating. The wife's calling me. Richard says, but do young people learn things in life like we did? Maybe they grow on into work too fast. Too much pressure on young people might affect mental wellness.
So I think this is exactly why global mobility and relocation is so important. We do take a lot of the stress out of that entire experience.
Yeah.
So it's not all an individual. If you can contact one of your global mobility partners, whether it's Interim Homes, if you're working with wonderful logistics partners like our friends at Interstate, you're calling them and they're helping you solve those problems so that they're not carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders.
Yeah.
And it's true. You know, a new job, a new location, a new relationship, a new house, those are very stressful things. And so we really do play a part in making sure people can have some quality and balance in their life because they're working with trusted professionals who are informed and the experts in the region.
Well, Tanya's informed, but I'm uninformed, but willing to share my opinion anyway, Richard, about your question. And I think that it's interesting, this whole like mental wellness, this wasn't even really a concept for me when I was coming out of college.
A little taboo to have a conversation.
Yeah,
right?
like mental wellness, like problems. I'll give you a problem. You know what I mean? You want a problem? I got a problem. You want a problem? Yeah. You know. So I don't know, Richard. I mean, I think the fact that they're even aware of this stuff is cool and great. I worry kind of the other way. I'm like, you know, kind of let's lean into some of the difficult, challenging things in life and let's work through it. And that's how you get the experience. So you're kind of think to your question, or the question inside the questionnaire. That's me. I think it's also really easy to live with your parents right now because houses are bigger. Houses are bigger. Rents are higher. I'm getting a no. I'm getting a no over here.
No.
She disagrees, or you agree?
Yeah.
What's that? No, easier for the kids. It's easy for the kids. It's too soft. The nest is too comfortable right now, you know. So, Richard, you know, let me know what you think about that. Are you charging your kids rent over here? Let's see. Richard
Yeah, I'd
said,
like to know if it's different in London than.
yeah, really. What you got
Virginia.
going on over there? Well, Richard has some temporary housing accommodations that he operates as well over there. He operates a really cool thing, the Saba networking event as well. Service apartments. They call it service apartments. What are we calling this anyways? It's service apartments?
We call them service
temp
apartments,
living,
temporary
corporate housing.
housing, corporate housing,
Furnished.
temporary housing.
Isn't that funny? Like, I feel like we're a little mature of an industry to not have this figured out yet and be on the same page as far as the terminology goes.
Well, you know, you have to be able to morph to the language of your client. So my corporate client, it's corporate housing. For insurance, it's insurance. A construction crew is a construction housing. So on and so forth. You got to.
So it's corporate. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, what's important to them is going to be important to us, and we create a solution that's going to make sense to them.
Tanya has all the right answers over here. Very good, very good. Tanya, I know we're kind of got some time here.
Okay.
Get your questions in there. If you got any questions you want to put in there. Remember, folks, it's Arlington, Virginia that we're in right now. It's rainy in Arlington. Before we depart though, because I do have a margarita calling my name over there. Is there any kind of final thoughts you want to share with us?
Well, I would just say for today, the Greater Washington Employee Relocation Council meeting was excellent. If you're not involved with this particular organization, I encourage folks to look at it, even if you're remote, to look at our resources and connect with people who are involved with the organization, because these are people that really care about elevating our industry and making sure we are the best at what we do. And then take a look at GWS. We've talked a lot about that today. And that event will take place in October here over the beautiful river of the Potomac across from Old Town Alexandria, Washington, D.C. The big.
I love the Gaylord Hotel.
Oh my gosh, it's fantastic.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And I hear that Interim is having a little party.
Oh, yes. Special.
It's a very exclusive.
Event.
Don't tell anybody.
You didn't hear it from me. But yes, we are going to have, there'll be a lot of great parties. You heard about that today. Yes. I mean, you've got wonderful festive professionals who are interested in connecting with each other and making sure we collaborate and make solutions.
I'm getting my dance moves. I'm working on my, you got to play a lot of M&M. I'm working on my dance moves here for the Interim part. Hey.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, we'll say that.
So come see us at WERC in October in National Harbor.
That's going to be awesome. Hey, thanks so much for being here with
us.
Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in.
Thanks, everyone.
Hit that like button, get in the comments. Appreciate you. We wouldn't have a show without you. So thanks for watching. And we will see you next week back in Dallas, which is near Arlington, Texas, Dad. Love y'all. Take care.